Islam Sheikh Dwayne Bay. It's about 6:45 a.m. It is July the 7th, 2026. And I sunbathed yesterday, so, or was it day before yesterday? So I'm looking a little red right now. um, I wanted to do this video. I'm going to send to you, and also I'll have it on X, because I want to demonstrate or speak about what I hear at Whole Foods and here, and I find very, 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 very odd. You know, again, hearing accents here, and the connection to the Army or the Navy, and um, I didn't realize how many blacks that are literally saying he loves you, or the black Negro, like could be connected to the army and that's stalking this apartment in the middle of the night. I realized when one of the female accents were saying, "We're doing what we're supposed to do. She don't have the code. It doesn't matter." She was actually there was it's like a conversation she was having with other accents in this apartment. She don't have the code. They don't have the code. Um, as you know, she was saying she was in the army, and we are doing what we are supposed to in the army, because she don't have the code. So she was saying I was a threat, or demonstrating that I was a threat. Well, I'm a threat to the United States because I don't have the code, and it did. And she was black. It would sound like a black accent, and she was saying it didn't matter if she's black. There's nothing wrong with being black and not being in the constitutional fold. Um, and I don't. She said she didn't have a problem with being. She said we never have problems with being black and not being in the constitutional fold. And then and then she starts saying any. I don't think any white people have problems being white and not being in the constitutional fold. And the black Negro male accents were just coming closer and closer around me and Imani, causing Imani to make noise. And even Spanish, I didn't realize how many of those that speak Spanish are connected to the Army and the Navy. I think more are connected to the Army than the Navy, but they are definitely in connected. And the male that seems to be like the bird, the same bird people or something like that, around Imani, making him make noise, or Black Negro in force engaging with him, seem to be connected to the Army as well, or the military here in Annapolis, Maryland. I knew I had, wait, I'm not going to say I didn't know, but I just didn't know. Sometimes I say connected, but they are actually in, or you be lab experiments inside the Army, um, that is being used. So the accent of the black female was saying that I was a threat. Imani is a threat to the United States because we don't have the telepathic code, and that there was nothing wrong with her and others saying that they're black or white. This is recent. Okay, this is when I posted the information on Twitter or X about my homework, me studying as a Moor in Moorish American National Republic. Okay, so this was either the day before yesterday, I think it was. So because I had posted all this information, not a lot, just a little bit of my homework. I still have a lot of homework that I put online, but that was just a little bit of me studying and demonstrating to you she doing alphabet. So this came about after that, so it had to be day before yesterday, or maybe 3 days or 4 days ago, because I think I started maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and she was saying that I was a threat, The same black female that also acts, and I hear at Whole Foods, um, that yells outside is some type of AI lab experiment saying, brother, pay. I've heard them say Burger King. I've heard them say Burger King. I don't. I think this is a distraction to keep the word military and army being being in the mix, because it's I want to remind you, Sheikh Dwayne Baffabe, those that behaved the oddest were those black males predominantly that came into Burger King, implying to be veterans in the Army or Navy, or still in the Army and Navy. Okay, those that behave odd, or I documented about because they behave odd towards me, or all of a sudden the manager, soon it's like they got the managers will get upset all of a sudden start disrespecting me in front of them, just yelling and being upset all of a sudden when one of them came into Burger King. The same thing seemed to be happening a little bit in an odd way at Whole Foods. I've heard someone say military. I think it's AI, one of the humanoid AI. That's because I've this more than once, more than twice, over the intercom. I've heard. I don't know who they're talking about, but it's as if like a black male is like talking, and I've heard as I'm talking in a not about Whole Foods. Um, I'm walking, trying to maybe I'm going on break or I'm trying to do what I have to do, and it's like there's a black male watching, and I've heard the accent of the female, like lab humanoid AI, saying he likes her. It's so many times I hear something come over the internet. I mean, intercom at Whole Foods, not about Whole Foods. If I start demonstrating that I'm like trying to, for example, if I feel, let me start off. If I feel pressure around, a lot of times this happen at Whole Foods. If I feel pressure around my head, and which causes me to forget or have to double track something, or I put the wrong number in for a code, I could tell um, the customer, because sometimes, not all the time, it's like um, with customers that are black females, um, they have a aura about, an energy about them that says military. Because I've heard the word military at the Whole Foods all of a sudden, and just odd, just odd psychological um, coincidence or sequence. Um, um, I don't know. It's like I'm not accused, and once again, I'm not accusing Whole Foods, and I'm not accusing my team leader, but just come out of the blue and behave so odd, or my fellow coworkers, or just odd. Just say, I can't explain it. And then the customers, when the word military, it's just like saying have a good one. Like yesterday, I mean, just people are still saying have a good one. Like they trying to, I don't, demonstrate a connection still. So getting back, some customers literally, it's just they're waiting to see, like they're waiting to for, because it's like they order, like, okay, they order this, they seem to be taking their time. So take your time, no problem. Especially with these are black females that have the energy. I could tell that they're irritated, but they're trying to hide that they're irritated. Especially in these past few days since I returned to San communicating to you, Sheep Dwayne Bay. Since I just like at Burger King, when we would pause and I wouldn't communicate to you, and the frequency in the apartment was getting more and more um, engaging. The black Negro male frequency, hearing the word military, not at the apartment but at the hotel, over and over again, and then hearing them say fire her. I've heard over the intercom at Whole Foods someone saying fire her. um, the music is playing. I've heard humanoid internet, a humanoid or some AI. Now I don't know, it's AI used through the singing, through the music, say fire her. Just like when the Spanish in the um in the kitchen starts playing Spanish speaking, excuse me, from South, most of them from El Salvador or Mexico. Um, was they play the music real loud, and then um, AI literally start communicating like it's trying, like say like trying, like for example, if I go back to go get something, and I forgot to go get something else to go with it, they'll say or definitely engaging in that manner. And then a few days ago when they were playing the music loud, I don't know if it was like it would seem like it was angry since I returned to communicating with you and saying Sheep Dwayne Bay and not Spirit of Noble Joy Lee on X. The same situation happened when I was working at Burger King and I started having issues with the manager sending me home saying I stink, with the manager sending me home saying I stink, with the managers just getting upset sending me home. This is the same thing, the same situation. It's like at Whole Foods, it seems like I'm not accusing Whole Foods, but it's like it's building up to. Oh, I hear them say schedule, like they said. I've heard it at Burger King, like they trying to build up in a bubble to burst and cause a situation where I won't be able to continue, especially when I not not Whole Foods, but that which is, I don't know how to say it because I don't want to connect Whole Foods, but I know AI and that which is in the army is definitely involved in the Navy, the military, and possibly definitely the police. So because it's the same, it is the exact same experience. It's like literally trying to see how they can cause mental illness in reference to me. And then in the middle of the night, the black Negro, more than one in female accents and pale skin, not pale skin, but Spanish speaking, pale skin are involved, are literally force engaging Imani, causing him to make noise, which is another form to try to cause mental illness. Because I love Imani. He's my son. He's my son. And then to hear them say military at Whole Foods, and then I'm experiencing accents with Imani. He's forced engaging like a homosexual male. When I'm angry, I say faggot. It's literally causing him to make noise in his sleep, as though they're trying to demonstrate um, why um, he needs protection, or she, or the black Negro lab freak female that's been stalking him loves him. But really, what they really trying to do is obvious, is cause mental illness. When I used to speak about at being at Burger King, and definitely in that when I was staying in the hotel room, and how I would have a visual all of a sudden, or a black Negro that um, would be looking my way, that's in the Navy or wear Navy or imply it's in the Navy, and I would experience a thought of um, it saying, we going to rape you or do things to you like we did to your mother," and start talking about my mom and her mental illnesses. So when I noticed, when I started like doing like this, just thinking to myself or talk, laughing, having a thought, or demonstrating, I'm having a thought and just laughing. You know, I'm not. This is not in front of the customer. Well, um, if the customer and I have a moment of communication and possibly, or if I'm looking down and I look up, I'm whatever, but just really just if I'm cleaning and the slicer and I'm smiling or whatever, I hear AI, okay, or if I'm in a thought and just like in a thought, whatever thought, I hear AI at Whole Foods say the black Negro female, show her. Yeah, show her. So it's like they're waiting to demonstrate that I have a mental illness so that they can cause a friction within my schedule. I found it so odd because I was hearing an accent similar to Corey. Okay, excuse me. Well, I already said her name. She is the assistant manager. I told you, I've had accents similar, and I'm not accusing any of them. The team leader, Kevin, Corey, is the assistant. Team leader is the head manager, Kevin. I think he's from Mexico. He looks like he's from El Salvador. But he told me he was from Mexico because he was telling me about somebody. His and I didn't know who he was talking about. Anyways, long story, but um, I didn't know her name was I didn't know her name, how to pronounce her name, or who he was talking about. And then and because he was saying her name different than what I would say it, I just went ahead. I was like, I knew he was from somewhere, but it just took me. I mean, I don't. I'm not there to as soon as I meet someone to say where you from. You know, I can work with you for a while. I'm more about is the person serious about doing their job and telling me the right thing to do at Whole Foods. Or telling me or giving me constructive criticism, or are they really there to demonstrate themselves as someone who are happy to be at Whole Foods because they believe in the core values of Whole Foods. Then after a while, I probably might ask, and that's what happened with the head manager, the team leader. I asked, um, uh, the assistant manager, I never asked her where she was from or what connection she has, Corey. But people were saying Italian around here. I even documented this. I'm pretty sure it's on one of the documentation, but I didn't document much about it. But I was like, what is up with this? You know, like there's a Italian clique that's in the army or connected to the military, and there's some type of lab experiment, maybe some type of some I don't know, um, something that likes raw food, or rare, really raw food or blood or something. I don't know, but there was just, I mean, just literally, and then an accent similar to Corey would appear. Then or be or send for or experience for sharp pains, and an accent similar to Corey would be in the apartment. The same with accent similar to Eve, my coworker. I didn't know anything about Corey like that. My store leader, which is the big boss of the store. His boss came, what was it, a week and a half ago, approximately, and we were all in a huddle at my department with him, and he wanted us, each one of us, to tell something about themselves. And but before Corey said, I had no idea she was connected. I mean, if you look at her, I guess you could say that, but I didn't know for sure. You know, she said she's Italian, and I was like, I was surprised because that she said it, but not surprised, but just that was part of her demonstrating who she is. They were saying Italian here in the apartment, like they trying to demonstrate either a form of protection or something. There are people that come into Whole Foods that look Italian, or I have had a conversation with this one lady. She said we were having about Italy, and she said she was Italian and about the Sicilian. But it was just she was a customer, and I had a little time to have that. She seemed to be regular, so to have that conversation. There's a Italian, I think it's called Giuliani, right across the street from Whole Foods. It's walking distance. You just go maybe it's like less than a minute of walk over there. So, and so what I'm trying to say is, um, there's a collaboration of something going on that I am not connecting or accusing Whole Foods, just like I did not accuse Burger King, but telling you it's the same thing going on that I experienced, and it's the connection is the military, the Navy, the Army, and the police. That's the connection. And I don't even know all who that I am um at the department of prepared foods that are in the military or have military family. I don't know. I don't have conversations like that with people there. Just like I don't take time as soon as someone start talking with an accent, say where you from. I mean, I found out where my head manager was from just because how he was pronouncing a name. I thought he was talking about a lizard, and he wasn't talking about a lizard. I said, "That's a lizard." He's talking. That he was talking about another girl, a lady that I worked with, and that was her name. And because how he said it, it sounded like to me a lizard. The another name that I know of a lizard, a type of lizard, and that's what caused me to ask. Otherwise, I might have would eventually ask, but that was not my concern. That it is not my concern to try to um because you have an accent find exactly where you're from. It's just not. Or if you don't have an accent, it's just a gradual. Sometimes it just depends on the situation. It's just usually a gradual situation. My thing is, um, why did you come to Whole Foods? Um, and why are you here working? What and so forth? Are you here really because of Whole Foods, or are you here because of other alternative other agendas? Um, that other that is not in the core values of Whole Foods, and that can affect me, and that can affect my mental balance. Okay, that's my concern. My concern is not though. As soon as I meet you, someone new, where you from. My concern is why did Whole Foods hire you or that person hire you, and what is your agenda? Why are you here at Whole Foods? And if your psychological behavior or your behavior, how will it affect me in my mental health? That's my that's it. that, it's like, did you come to Whole Foods because you believe in the core values, or are you here because of other reasons, because of what I hear sometimes that's odd going coming through the intercom, over in front of all these customers, and the customers is just going with the flow, like they go with the flow, saying have a good one. Not all of them say have a good one, not all, but many, too many, or hearing the word military. So that's pretty much that. I'm just keeping it 100. So I'm not accusing Whole Foods, but I have heard it, just like I had documented many times, hearing the accents here in the middle of the night or while we take showers. And I started recording, and when I started recording, I was able to prove what I was saying is true, because it seemed like to me the goal is to implement bondage. That's why they keep saying they paid. So now the Spanish speaking, from South Central America, Mexico, maybe El Salvador, or Mexico, or just Spanish speaking, they saying they paid too, but the connection is the United States military. They paid him, or he sold. You see? So if you are adamant about saying why you should be able to be the to penetrate me and Imani, so that's why because if they're walking around in my apartment using the science of telepathy while I take a shower, the filth, the beast and Imani, or they could be others, whoever that's doing it, um, whoever it is here in Annapolis, they lusting like animals. They lusting. They're lusting as a demonic filth. And so, as I'm also still hearing accent from Japan, from sounds similar to, they call her Natsu. She told me her name is pronounced Natue. She from her, when I say similar, she similar to her, not accusing her, and her daughter Serena, and her daughter. I could tell some type of program is constantly trying to invade my thoughts, or cause some form of pre-thought, like they demonstrating how they have watched and studied my behavior, and they already know what I'm going to do. When Imani comes in, I can tell he's being forced to engage by science, because his accent of what he says change. He might be speaking, and he could sound like for instance, there's this new employee. He looks like he's from China. He could sound like his accent. I'm not accusing him. Um, Many times I've heard them say Matt in this apartment. Matt is another employee, co-worker at Whole Foods. I'm not accusing Matt. I'm not accusing any of them. And then while I was in the shower, I've heard that same accent that sound like Matt in the shower. Um, so the military is definitely involved in using the science of telepathy to. So Imani does not have sex. We do not have sex with anyone. Both of us have been celibate and practice celibacy. The only person I have had sex with on the mental was with you, she the way Beth in the mental plane. But I could tell that the beasts in the military are like in a rage of anger, because they want to implement how they paid. Just like you hear people say they paid to have sex with these kids to be the first to penetrate Imani and me. And so it's amazing to experience a black female customer or someone who looks to be Italian or others. It could be, but more recent was a lady, and she was just like pausing. You know, I like what she had to say. I didn't know why she was pausing, but literally, like some of them, they're trying to wait to see, and possibly not saying they are, but I might feel like a cold spot right here, and which causes me to forget a number, a cold spot in my right here on my temple, where something is force engaging. And I'm trying to remember my code, trying to make sure I give her great customer service. And then all of a sudden I might put the wrong number in the computer. Or I might overslice the turkey because I'm feeling something force engage my body sheet. So I'm trying to slice, give a half a pound. I slice one over. This is dealing with obviously a science that of telepathy and body engagements that the military, the Navy, and Army are using, and other military branches here, the police in Annapolis. That's unnaturalized. When that black Negro female accent was saying that they have the right to do what they're doing. A lot of times, because what she was saying, because we don't have the code. But most of the time, the accents here is they saying we paid the dirty Moors, we paid Moors. So when I returned back to communicating to you, Sheik Dwayne Baffler Bay, all of a sudden I could tell some of the customers were more irritated and more angry than usual. And then the oddness of what is being said over the intercom is more loud. I don't like it. Is anybody this does not have nothing what they're saying to do with Whole Foods. Who are they talking to? Do they know that the intercom is on? Yeah, that's a possibility. They might not know. I don't know. But and it could, if you are on the intercom and you can watch. Say, now this is something to think about. Say you're trying to get a lawsuit together, and you are and you trying to demonstrate someone being mentally ill. Okay, I'm not saying I'm saying that Whole Foods is doing this, but imagine this, and you want to use the science of telepathy to demonstrate how a person forgets. Use those that are telepathy um, criminals or weapons. That's the military weapons to force engage. Um, to show how someone forgets, to show someone is double tracking, to send for sharp pains while they're trying to maintain. You looking from the camera, that the big eye in your company, or with the people in your company, because you decided, because y'all said Mason, because y'all you Freemason, you say three, so under that rule, you're not naturalized. You don't care nothing about being naturalized. You don't care nothing about the Constitution. You don't care nothing about humanity. But because you're not able to do what you want to do, sex and human traffic, and the person that you can't that you're aiming for is talking too much about what's truly going on, and that in reference to crimes against humanity, I'm going to attack her and her son and demonstrate by using the science of telepathy how we can force engage the body and mind and make on camera seem like they are not suitable to maintain employment. and then use that to demonstrate why, if there was a previous job that there was issues she was having because of these things, why the managers behaved the way they did. Anything but the truth about why the managers behaved the way they did in reference to the military or irrational behavior or um I'm not saying this is why what I experienced at Burger King, but sex and human trafficking, or the connection to them, or the black Negro male and female stalking our hotel room with that would speak Spanish, leaving the feathers on our path, finding feathers under our bed. Um, the black Negro males sitting outside our window with demonstrating their veterans or connected to the United States military, pale skins. So it would that is something to think about. I'm not saying this is happening with Whole Foods, that under their rule of three in Freemason, that a company will allow such things, such acts of terrorism, crimes against humanity, a um, a war tactic. Because that's what the black female accent was demonstrating. She was saying we are supposed to be like this towards her because she doesn't have the telepathic code, and it's but for her to not be in a constitutional fold or uphold constitutional law is okay. It's so if they are mixed with an ape or monkey, which I'm telling you that's what has happened here in Maryland, not all, in other states, or pale skins do transforming humans in where they don't have really a connection to their forefather. Their connection, when the scientists look, would be some type of animal. Then it doesn't really matter because they're not going to be naturalized ever anyway in the constitutional fold because they're not men. They would never sit in the council with men and be able to deal and communicate about the affairs of humans, of men, because they're not men. And this will explain why their thoughts and behavior is so much like an animal and criminal. So they have the code. If you have a science that allow you to do things that you were not able to do before, and now you have kids that are being born with it, why? How could you use such science and give to a population of people who don't know anything, who are at a point where, I mean, they're not even free. They don't even know the mental govern, or how the government, how their mind is being governed. And then you give them the science and they are just going, and the military, who are more adept in knowing a little more than what the average person know, is actually warring upon the citizens, or the inhabitants on the landmass, that demonstrating to have the potential to free their mind and implement actual freedom according to what their constitutional laws of that landmass is, of the country is. So the United States military, Navy, Army, and so forth are the true terrorists. And then they're not able to sit among the council of men. So if you're from China and you are demonstrating yourself to be some type of transhuman animal, you cannot sit on the council of men. If you're from South Africa and you same thing, or Japan or whatever, and speak about the affairs of human but in a serious manner, because you are of something else, of a beast or animal affair. You say where your forefathers come from, they start looking at the monkey, the Darwin, what is it, the Darwin evolution theory. They start looking at that ape. They're not going to look at um time never was when man was not, the Holy Circle 7, the Holy Bible. They're gonna be looking at the ape, the monkey, the dog, and other animals that they mixed up in, mixed the DNA with. And this is why why the beasts, the black Negro female and males behave the way they do here, not all, in Maryland. And that maybe this is the connection to the odd behavior from those that look to be Italian. I didn't, I once again it's like Italians. I would say because the movies and being around them, I I know their culture, and I've always admired Italians. Always, I have. I mean, I thought they were very beautiful people. I mean, very beautiful, um, handsome people through the years. Um, but I didn't know the witchcraft and demonic energy that literally flowed within their lines. And I'm not saying all of them, but obviously that's the case. I didn't know. I mean, this is probably the connection to Catholicism, that Catholic, because a lot of the Mexicans or those that speak Spanish, that's their werewolf, Birdman people. A lot of them also are connected to the religion of the Catholic religion, but not all. But trust me, so I didn't know. I didn't connect the dots with Italy and the demonic um, energy and transhuman of what we don't. I don't vampirism and werewolf, whatever. That's the transformation lab that has gone through their lines. I didn't connect that. I didn't know. All I know is the ancient Italian movies in reference to um, well, some, yeah, I guess some, I mean, there have been brutal documentations, but in Rome, oh my goodness, I guess I you know I don't know, I just Italy, and then yeah, I guess I should have because when I study Al Pacino, and I guess it was I wasn't surprised to see that demonic spirit introduced itself to me. That's Italian here in Annapolis. That unclean demonic spirit. I've been in a for years. Italy, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. So many Italians on the big screen, the movie screen, the movies I enjoyed, and whether it was the violent gangster. I think a lot of African American, because that's the status I was in, really fell in love with how the similarities of them, especially the Sicilians, fell in love with the similarities of thoughts, um, being discriminated against, and so forth. Um, but I didn't, for the first time, that demonic spirit, unclean spirit that's in their lines, introduced itself to me and want and opened my eyes to see the truth of what's in their lines, females and males, for the first time ever. And I didn't know. I mean, I guess I didn't. I guess I was under a spell, and then I started to connect Italy with Rome. Excuse me. I guess I was under a spell because all these years of really just I guess you want to say loving Italy, and the thoughts of what I think Italy is, whether it was negative, gangster or love movies, whatever, the women being so beautiful, the men being handsome and so forth. So now for the very first time, that unclean, very unclean, oof, and cold demonic spirit, very cold, introduced itself to me. Just like the very cold and demonic unclean spirit that's in the black Negro line, African American, introduced itself to me, spirits. And so, and then the pale skin. Oh, for the very first time, the pale skin, I was more through the years, I would look more at them in through the years because of the white, that whole program about them being the white devil and what all they have done. But for the very first time, that was put on the back burn, and then not giving them a pass because there's still an unclean spirit there. But what I'm saying is, I feel like they get they that all of them are not they. It was deliberately done to distract melanated from others that were truly unclean for the very first time, which I had no really thoughts or connection to South Central Americans and Mexicans at all. But that filthy, unclean spirit that's in their line demonstrated itself to me here. All this happened in Annapolis. This cesspool of unclean demonic filth. And and I think it was done that way for the very first time, Asian, from Japanese, Japan, and China, and other Asian, but mainly China and Japan. For the first time, that demonic, filthy spirit introduced itself to me, and now I know. So they wanted me to to see, to see them, to know what I am dealing with. For the very first time, Sheik Dwayne Bafabé. And once again, I'm not giving the pale skin because definitely there's an unclean spirit in a lot of them. Oh my goodness, there is. But I just now see why it was such an emphasis on them and not truly in like a block or a program to disconnect them that which were melanated, that are just as deadly, that's filthy and unclean, and just as involved in ritual murders. They're working, the unclean spirits are working together. The demonic spirits, the filthy spirits, the murderous, rapist spirits are working together, doing blood oaths with people, with humans or transhumans, so that once they sign over their soul, their being, and in complete loyalty to them, they are really setting them up so that if they able to come back, be reincarnated, they come back with that curse. They did a ritual, a blood oath, so that when people sign over and do rituals saying they Freemason in to a demonic spirit that's controlling that whole rule or set. If they reincarnate, not only that, they all have lines in them. Their father, their granddaddy, their grandmother, their mother, their great great grandmother, their great great grandfather. They all have different lines in them. So that when they come back, they will be reincarnated with that karmic, negative karmic energy, a curse. And the probability or the door opening for them to repeat the same cycle and connect with that same filthy, unclean spirit will be more um it'll be easier for it to happen, because they if they don't remember the karmic energy and the knowledge of reincarnation in the blood oath consciously, but it's already in that line, that energy is already there. Once that program is triggered, it'll just draw them back to that same behavior, that same thought of signing up, of Allah forbid this ever happened to me and Money, of signing a blood oath and joining that same set again and be in a slave bondage demonic spirit again. So they have literally trapped a soul if they're not able to free themselves and remember consciously what they experienced in another life before they were reincarnated. They have the demonic unclean spirits trapped them literally to keep them have literally have trapped them from freeing themselves um, in their line, or that which is in their line that have done the same behavior, same thought forever, possibly. This is the importance I see, Sheikh Dwayne Baflabe, of cleansing karmic energies, negative karmic energies from yourself and from your line. So you come back reincarnated, Allah forbid, I'm giving an example, and consciously you do not remember. But one day you get a program, a trigger, that program that calls you to remember or have you are naturally drawn to that blood oath, that demonic unclean filthy behavior again. I mean, unclean filthy behavior and thoughts again. And there you go, you have a cycle. Islam. Cleansing negative karma energy from yourself and your line. I'm thankful and grateful that I'm able to do that. And I'm thankful and grateful that I can talk about it. So Sheikh Dwayne Bafabe, I just want to say Islam to you, but just demonstrate why I'm thankful and grateful that I had the thoughts to like for example, something just bumped when I said that, because they're still trying to program. I'm thankful and grateful that I had the thoughts to record the animals, the beasts, the demonic filthy spirits here in Annapolis, because it's easier. I can say a lot sometimes when people know. So when you're dealing with demonic unclean devils that are controlling many people because of blood oaths and sets, ritual, Freemason, whatever. But it's the demonic, filthy spirits in them. I mean, in that set or in these sets that's controlling it. They absolutely are. The only thing they know how to do is demonstrate a type of science. but they do not have the capability to raise their thought on a higher level of existence in science. So when you get trapped in that, that's the same thought, same process. And if somebody comes along or more who's able to do that, all you can think about is how you're going to take that energy, because that's what has been done to them. Take that energy, those thoughts, hurt their behavior, and bring them down to your level, your frequency, and trap them like you have been trapped. So, but no one, how could I have really literally demonstrate truth without recording what goes on in these showers and so forth? Islam is this has been a spiritual journey. It has been a this has been a journey where unclean demonic spirits, a cesspool, but I needed to see, and so that I can give testimony. My testimony as a divine human celestial being, so that I can testify and bring forth truth. I was the one to do that.